Setting a proper motivation with 3 points. Refuge field. Visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Ara Maitreya, Ara Manjushri, Ara Vilukteshvara, Ara Thara, Ara Samadvatra, Ara Krishitagarbha, Ara Vajrapani, Ara Kashagarbha, Are Nagarjuna, Are Deva, Acharya Buddha Palita, Acharya Nagabodhi, Are Sangha, Acharya Vasubandhu, Acharya Tignaga, Acharya Dharmakirti, Acharya Chandrakirti, Bodhisattva Chandrakshita, Acharya the Bodhisattva the Shanti Deva, Acharya Kamalashil, Lama Selingba, Lama Adisha de Bangari Shirigana, Guru Padmasambhava, Sajan Kunganyingbo, Saja Pandita, Saint Tilopa, Saint Naropa, and Chesumarpa, Chesumela, Chesun Thakpolache, Lama Tsongkhapa, Gyaltsab Rinpoche, Ketu Rinpoche, and all the source of inspiration from whom you seek seek the inspiration of the inspirations and blessings of the wisdom of emptiness and bodhicitta, and how you visualize them. They are like very affectionate parents, and imagine that you come home demoralized, and your parents are waiting there to give full love, affection, attention, so forth. And Bodhicitta field, visualize your 2 parents on the 2 sides, and all your children, and all the family members, and all the sentient beings here in Kalachakra Center, the human beings, animals, the insects, the spirits, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god, goddesses, and everyone here around this village, everyone in France, and all sentient beings in the entire world, Milky Way galaxy, and the entire universe. And how you visualize them. Here you are the mother, and all other celibate children, and imagine they come home demoralized, and you are there to give full love, affection, attention, and embrace. The purpose of this practice is to awaken the incredibly precious Buddha nature within each one of us, no matter who we are, whether believer, non-believer. Everyone has this Buddha nature, the seed of perfection. Our job is to awaken this seed deep inside. No matter who we are, we all seek total fearlessness and infinite happiness. And yet, the Buddha nature inside us has these 2 qualities, total fearlessness and infinite happiness. While these are the 2 major characteristics of this Buddha nature, why these 2 are not manifest as yet is all because this Buddha nature, the true nature, is obscured by the mental defilements. To eradicate these mental defilements, in order for one to experience the infinite happiness and the fearlessness, is by first of all identifying what the mental defilements are, and then apply the very powerful remedies. And the mental defilements are of 2 kinds, the gross and the subtle. The gross are referred to as the afflictive obscurations, the presence of which stops us from achieving total fearlessness, which is nirvana. And the subtle one, referred to as cognitive obscurations, stop us from achieving infinite happiness, which is Buddhahood. And knowing that the afflictive obscurations, the gross one, is of 3 kinds: contaminated karmas, afflictions or the gross afflictions and the active seeds. All these somehow hover around this self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude, the cognitive obscurations, which is the subtle stains, the presence of which manifests in the form of one of which manifests in the form of self-centered attitude. And the remedy in both cases is to apply a very strong wisdom of emptiness, in other words, non-dual wisdom of emptiness, driven by the force of Bodhicitta, supported by great compassion, on the ground of renunciation. So this being the case, all the Bodhisattvas are watching us, and you are leading this, and all the sentient beings are joining you. Page 3. And used by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And used by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And used by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sanye Juda Zoge Jonam La Chanju Bardo Dane Gyapsu Che Dage Jinso Kebe Tsonam Ge Tola Penjire Sangye Drubare Sho Sangye Juda Zoge Chonam Chanju Bardo Dane Gyapsu Che Dage Jinso Kebe Tsonam Ge Tola Penjire Sangye Drubare Sho Sangye Choda Soge Chonam Da Janju Bardu Dane Gyamsu Chen Dage Jinso Kebe Tsonam Gi Tola Benjire Sangye Drubare Sho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the Supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification and complete peace, who through the knowledge of past causes or helping my grace to achieve the aims of the world, who through the possession of omniscience help subdue or expound a variety of teachings, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you are my prostrations, the one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham datha Mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum desham tathagato yavatat desham chayo nirodham evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum desham tathagato yavatat desham chayo nirodham Evam Bhati Mahashramanaya Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes is what is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-line, non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I will return to the woods. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. All composite things are impermanent, all contaminated things are of the nature of suffering, all phenomena are of the nature of emptiness and selflessness, transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome, a good for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the four destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in good knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, forms supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, free from the abyss in 3 worlds, we know the best, Lord, you have prostrate. With the supreme science face like a spotless moon, colorly gold to you are prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incompatible wise one to you are prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with the I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies the prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Heart Sutra, page 29. I prostrate to the irretrievable gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on the mass of Valchas mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly behold holding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness is empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no opportunity to touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on up to and including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in three times also manifested completely awakened to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal and unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Dhyatha Om Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha. The Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. Though the Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharitvatiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, those surrounded in entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. Okay, as we recite this Harsudha mantra, given that this is the last session for this retreat, let us include our parents, let us include our children, let us include the family members, let us include everyone here in Kalachakra Center, everybody somehow who are related to this, somebody who is building the beautiful stupa, people who are providing food for us, people who are doing gardening here, and people who deliver the rations, and anybody who is somehow connected with the center here, and also the insects, the animals, the cats, dogs, and the spirits. And then the hungry ghosts, hell beings, the god and goddesses, everyone here in the center, everyone in this village, everyone in France, and everyone in the entire world, the Milky Way galaxy and the entire universe. And imagine that Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us thus: don't remain in the fears of samsara. Come to its ultimate happiness by coming to Kalachakra Center. Be connected with your true nature, the Buddha nature, and come to the ultimate state of happiness, fearlessness, and the infinite happiness. And you hearing this melodious voice of Buddha Shakyamuni, you inspire your two parents, your children, your family members, and everyone around you, all the sentient beings. Look, this is what a compassionate teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, inspires us. Let us not remain in the fears of samsara anymore. Let us all go towards ultimate happiness. Come along with me. Let us all go together and leaving behind samsara and bring an end to samsara. Let's see the dawn of the Bodhicitta, the dawn of wisdom emptiness, and see the paradise, the glory of fearlessness and the infinite happiness. And everyone so happily joins you in this journey of cleansing the mind to discover the true nature of the Buddha nature in yourself, to experience the infinite happiness and the fearlessness, leaving behind all fears of samsara, all tears, all stress, tension, depression, everything leaving behind, and you experience the bounties of happiness and the fearlessness. With that in mind, let's recite together, imagining everyone is reciting this and undertaking this journey. Deyata Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasam Gade Bodhiswatyata Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswatyata Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate 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 Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswaha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing power of truth, may inner and outer hindrance be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. 8 verses of mind training. Here, we need to make a distinction between what the whole purpose of this text is for us to learn how to distinguish between self-grasping ignorance and distinguish between the self-referential ego and the self-confidence. Self-referential ego is the combination of the two: self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, and then seeing that the referential ego, this is the one which attracts all the miseries and which attracts all tension, stress, anxiety, anguish, even that tiny feeling, even just a very, a tinge of a feeling of pain, a tinge of feeling of unease, somehow that is triggered by the self-referential ego, somehow triggered by the self-centered attitude. Whereas on the other hand, we have the self-confidence. Self-confidence is the basis for our happiness. And oftentimes, people equate it to, when somebody is very self-confident, they're self-confident, we see that, this person is egoistic. When the person doesn't have the ego, the person also doesn't have self-confidence. This is how, in the ordinary world, we equate these two, and this is where we are going wrong. Now, to be in Dharma means to distinguish the two and suppress, subdue, and eradicate the self-referential ego, meanwhile boost the self-confidence. It doesn't mean that to be a Dharma practitioner means that you should be overly timid, overly inactive, passive. There's not a connotation. You should have full of zeal, full of exuberance, and full of the confidence there. This is so important as a Dharma practitioner. Meanwhile, should not be giving in to the arrogance or the self-referential ego, self-centered attitude. Okay, this is how, and here the manner in which yesterday we also discussed that. Then the manner in which it is taught here as how to be humble, how to take the defeat, how to give victories to others, and how to see the people who are being scornful of you in the light of teacher and so forth. These are only to eradicate your self-centered attitude, eradicate the ego, and thus eradicate the anger. Finally, we see that anger is the one which actually destroys your peace of mind. Anger is the one which destroys the immune system. So, when the anger is removed, automatically compassion arises. It leaves room for compassion. As the compassion arises, your peace of mind, the basic framework of your mind is very peaceful. So, this is what everybody is seeking. So, a wise person is somebody who is able to boost the self-confidence and does not give in to ego, the self-referential ego. Whereas the unwise people, they either in the facade of boosting the confidence, they also boost the ego. In the facade of undermining the ego, they also undermine the self-confidence. This is a sign of the ordinary being. Now, with the study of this adverse mind training, we should be able to somebody who should be able to undo the ego, and meanwhile not undo, instead boost self-confidence. Okay. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard them still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. As 7 in practice, the next page. I bow down to the youthful I am Manjushri, you alliance amongst humans. In the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down, with the energy and aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom of Buddha's numberless answer, each of them is a host of bodhisattvas. I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas, and I celebrate all of you Sugatas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music scented with walls and pedestals, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to victorious ones, Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, scented with powder heart, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array, I offer to you victorious ones, with transcendent offerings, peerless and vast. Of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here still training and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings, you who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stage of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme will of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for aeons, numberless atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all the wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offering and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, model offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha filled and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sajibe Ge Geshe Damdul Saint May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming frustrated with ignorance that grasps at true existence, which is repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious Bodhicitta that cherishes others. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalagam Nirateyami. The foundation of all good qualities. Up to this point is more like the preparation, preliminary. Now the actual practice is consisted of the 14 verses. And these 14 verses, you see that in detail, Lama Tsongkhapa explained the same thing in 3 huge volumes in English. And so this is what forms the whole body of our practice. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and the death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is a door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and caution arise. Root of the teaching is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so for all mother migratory beings, please bless me to see this trained in Supreme Bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of karma by a special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges in my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may quickly attain the state of Vajratara. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of compassion not aimed at true existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sage of the land of snows, of Santaba, at your feet I make prostrations. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure and compassion not aimed at true existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroy hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sage of the land of the snows, Lobsangthapa, at your feet I make prostrations. Okay, generating Mahadev Consuming Yoga. Tamje Nejuk Simkepa, which consists of 4 parts. Single-pointed meditation, shamatha meditation, followed by renunciation practice, bodhicitta practice, and wisdom of emptiness, and then taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow. Okay, what we do is that the meditation, 5 minutes, single-pointed meditation. Ready? Okay, quick. From the if there is any refinement required or revision required, we'll do this here. Also, the body posture. Body posture again, the cross-legged, if you can, this would be very helpful. And meanwhile, if you find it difficult, you can practice it. The moment you start feeling the pain, you can keep it down, release it, let it go, and once the pain is gone, again bring it back. This is how we can get used to this posture. Okay, if you learn how to sit with this cross-legged position, particularly for a long-term practitioner, or so to meditate for a long term, for a long time, this would be extremely helpful to maintain your body alert, maintain your mind alert. This is very helpful. And the body must be upright. Whereas you do have backache problem or the knee problem, so forth, then you can sit in whichever position is more comfortable to you. So this is what your body posture, and of course the head tilted for a little bit, and until somebody has been meditating for so long, more than like 3 years, what I would suggest is always keep your eyes half open. Don't keep your eyes closed. Keeping your eyes closed to give a very urgent kind of the warning is very dangerous. And whereas later when you become expert in the meditation, then keep eyes closed, open, there is no difference, number one. Number two, that there are times where there are not really times, there are some versions of meditation which will come later on, where you do it in complete dark. So that is a different meditation. Otherwise, for the beginners, always do your meditation with eyes open. Train your practice with eyes open. Okay, eyes open meaning 45 degrees half open, 45 degrees cast down, and don't strain your eyes by looking at the tip of your nose. Don't strain your eyes. Just keep it 45 degrees and ignore. And whereas it is not your eye consciousness which is meditating, it is your mental consciousness which is meditating, which will be able to segregate, which is able to separate the mental consciousness from the eye consciousness. Eye consciousness, just 45 degrees and ignore. It's a mental consciousness which is going to meditate. And the tip of the tongue, keep it touching the upper palate, and to avoid the excessive accumulation of saliva in the mouth, and the teeth and lips in the natural course. Breathe naturally. Don't force your breath. Breathe naturally. Don't force your breath. Don't control your breath. And your body upright. Meanwhile, it should be flexible. It should not be rigid. Okay. And your right hand on your left hand. And sometimes, given that we are not really used to sitting upright like this, you may start to have pain on your shoulders, pain on your spine. If these things happen, don't keep bearing it. Again, relax yourself. If it helps by leaning against the support, do that. This is very important. Again, right hand on left hand, and the two thumbs standing, tips of the thumbs joining, forming triangle. Place the two hands on your laps in restful state. Okay, this is your body posture, and breathe very naturally. Feel the ease of your breath. Feel the ease of your body. And then what you should be meditating is number 2 is focal point. Two things, multitasking. Number 1 is focus your mind on tiny dot, very tiny dot between nose and upper lip. This is not what your eyes are looking at. It's simply your mental consciousness looking at it. And while you focus your mind there on this tiny dot, then the multitasking. Count your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Just count your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Just count the breath. And in the course of your practice, if you find this quite challenging, then you can drop the first part, which is the visualizing the dot. Just you can keep the count the breath. But if you can, and don't expect that both things you'll be successful with both things within 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It may take, in some cases, it may take 1 month. Don't give up easily. Even after attempting for 1 month, still you find it difficult, then it's fine. You can drop the first part, then you focus on just the count of the breath. No need to follow the breath. Don't follow the breath, just count the breath. Follow the breath meaning, okay, now the air went through the nostrils, now the air is going through the central channel, it's coming out. This is the meaning of the following the breath. No need to follow, just count the breath. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle 1. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle 2. This is what we're going to do. This is your focal point. Number 3 and number 4 are so important. Number 3, your practice, and the number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation, and whether or not your practice is going well. This is all determined by number 3 and number 4. Number 3, I say when your mind, when your mind, otherwise to be meditating, it can go into the direction of the flaws. 2 flaws: mental excitement or mental scattering, and the other one is mental laxity. One is overactivity of the mind, and the other one is the passivity of the mind. So should any of these 2 things happen, no need to worry. Just go to number 4, applying the remedies. Remedies twofold: introspection and mindfulness. Introspection is keeping once in a while to keep an eye on a mind to see whether it's meditating or it is already gone into the errors, laxity and excitement. Should you see that you go into the two errors, any of the 2 errors, then apply the mindfulness. Bring the mind back to the intent of your meditation. Okay, 5 minutes. Ready? Okay, next Bodhicitta. Renunciation. Okay, today we'll do that on the basis of as a guided meditation. Just try to follow the instructions and see if you can do the similar way of meditation, analytical meditation. And you can invigorate the meditation with your additional reflections from what you read, from what you've seen, from what you've experienced. You can bring them there to make the meditation more lively, more rigorous, more intense, and more moving. Okay, renunciation. Until we know what samsara is in its true form, our renunciation will not possibly arise. Without the renunciation, a genuine bodhicitta is not possible, without which the full form of nirvana, which is Buddhahood, will not possibly arise. But therefore, the fearlessness of nirvana and the infinite happiness of Buddhahood, in both cases, renunciation is the ground. Renunciation is to renounce the miseries of samsara. For that matter, we need to identify the miseries, the samsara itself so well, and then once having identified what samsara is, the vicious place, destination where the mere existence creates all forms of three sufferings, and to abandon that, to eradicate that, we need to learn how to eradicate the causes of samsara. Ye dharma hedu prabhava. All these phenomena arise from causes. Wise people will track the causes and exterminate the causes, so the results automatically come to an end. To identify the causes and to eradicate them, the best and the most effective way is the meditation of 4 seals, identifying the 4 misconceptions, and thus eradicating, the rendering, the ways and means, the rendering the remedies to overcome these 4 misconceptions. Okay, first, all composite things impermanent. Composite things constituted of those things which are composed of the material parts, material particles, and those which are composed of the temporal mental parts. Anything which is composed of these 2 parts is referred to as a composite phenomena, and there are parts which may not necessarily be one of these 2, even the non-composite phenomena. They're also composed of parts, as rightly indicated by Lama Tsongkhapa in his book, the elucidating the clear intention. Okay, so what is composed of the material parts and the temporal segments of the mind should necessarily be impermanent. And impermanent is of 2 kinds, the gross and the subtle. The gross where the continuum terminates, and the subtle where where it is not spoken of, which is not spoken of in terms of the continuum, but in terms of the momentariness. Within the continuum, there can be momentariness. In other words, what is impermanent may not necessarily have the gross impermanence, but should necessarily have the subtle impermanence. And it's so important for us to meditate in both. First, begin with the gross, and then eventually, then the subtle. The gross one, the ceasing of the continuum. The Buddha taught in Abhidhamma, Buddha taught in the Dhammapada that all what is gathered will end in separation. accumulation ends in exhaustion. Whatever stands ends with falling. And whatever is born ends in death. And this is the reality of the composite phenomena. This is the reality of impermanence. Wise people will think about these way before the gross impermanence strikes us, so that one is well prepared to the next journey. Beautiful days of youth, of one's youth, when you are in your 15, 16, 17, 20, they're all gone. Their merriments, their festivities, their celebrations, jubilance, anniversaries, which you had experienced in great bounties, disappeared. What you celebrated, what you experienced before, they will not come back again. This is a fact. And many people who you know, who are younger than you, who are older than you, who are your same age, many of them disappear from this earth. And this is also a fact. In fact, the people, the parents, the children, the teachers, the students, the politicians, the subjects, the business leaders, and the employees, and the rich people, poor people, existed 200 years ago, and today they're all gone. Not even a single person is left. And for sure, just as we have so many aspirations in the mind, so many aspirations, the young ones have their careers ahead, and the elder ones have so much of plans. Whether your plans, careers are accomplished or not accomplished, those people, not even a single person is left today. This is the power of the impermanence. Today, there are 7 billion human beings on this earth. Again, with so much aspirations, fears, plans, careers, and so forth, whether they're accomplished or not accomplished. In 150 years from now in the future, guaranteed not even a single person will be left then. Guaranteed. This is the power of the impermanence. Let alone that we're going to be left there, even the memories will fade away. People will not even have a clue that once in 2000, like 150 years ago, what is known as 2019, that a group of people came to Kalachakra Center. Not even a memory will be left then. And most likely not even a single person here will be remembered 200 years from now in the future. This is a part of impermanence. From this we see that finally what the Buddha said is very true. Whatever gathers will come in separation, will disperse. This is what is happening today. This is a very clear reminder. There's a great teaching on impermanence. The Buddha, seeing that the teaching on impermanence is the most important, the first teaching that he gave was on impermanence. The last teaching the Buddha gave was also on impermanence. And for this gross impermanence, this discontinuation of the continuum, the subtle impermanence must be there. Momentariness must be there. The change that you see over 100 years, 50 years, 20 years must be possible only if there is a change happening on the annual basis, yearly basis. This change happening on the yearly basis must be happening because of the change happening over the daily, monthly basis, weekly basis, and daily basis. And that's true. And the change that we see over the daily basis must be happening on the change on the hourly basis, minute basis, second basis. Second basis means the change is happening pretty fast. Tuck, 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 tug. This is how the change that our body is moving, our mind is moving, the world is moving. And the change that you see on the second basis must be happening because the change that you see in the millisecond basis, which is so fast. Just probe into this. Bring this to analysis. Bring this to reflection. You see that your body is moving so fast. Your mind is moving so fast. Whole world, this gomba is moving so fast. Everything is moving so fast around you. All composite things move so fast. It's quite scary though. And yet this is the reality. When we don't reflect on this, we don't see the reality. We're blinded from having the vision of the reality. We see what is so superficial there, as everything is so static. Look at the trees outside, they seem so static. Look at the gombas, look so static. Look at the fields, they look so static. And your body is so static. Everybody's so static. This is a total deceptive perception. The reality is very different. Everything is momentarily moving towards the future. It's so scary. Imagine what if somebody throws you into a very fast-moving train, unknown person throws you into a fast-moving train or experience. Very scary. The faster the train goes, more the fear you have. Not the way this train is taking you. Likewise, the faster we see that we are moving, we are changing, more scary it is. Where is this train taking you? It is who determines where this train is taking you. It's determined by the driver or the people who control the driver. In our case, and this train, if the driver is your mother, for sure it will take you to a picnic spot. But if the driver is the terrorist, will sure take you to the torture chamber or the slaughterhouse. In our case, unfortunately, the driver is the true demons. The driver is a mind which is under the dictate of the true demons, self-grasping in the self-centered attitude. As long as we are under the dictate of these two, we will only be taken towards the suffering. This is what the Buddha indicated as the second seal. All contaminated things of suffering nature. As long as the very fast-moving body, very fast-moving the mind towards the old age, as long as this is being moving that fast by the dictate of the two demons, the worst of the contaminations, will only experience miseries, sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, lamentation, the pain of losing near dear ones, the fear of losing near and dear ones, and the pain and the fear of meeting with undesirable things, the pain and fear of getting separated from what is conducive, what you like. This is what the samsara is. And in fact, one moment of such a tragic event is good enough to nullify all the past moments of the merriments, joys, celebrations, festivities, anniversaries. They're all just so shallow, hollow, meaningless in the eyes of one moment of tragedy. And this one moment of tragedy will strike everyone, each one of us, everyone. This is what is bound to go through. We are bound to go through this. This is what we are unaware of. We are not bothered to reflect on these points. And then when the tragedy hits us, we are just lost in shock. And then we go into such a deep depression. And the whole world is shattered for you. This is what all contaminate, the meaning of the contaminated things are of suffering nature. That's true. Is there a way out? 2018 came to an end automatically. We did not really do anything, it's impermanent. Likewise, all these sufferings, will they come to an end automatically? No. So the impermanence of two kinds. In fact, it's of three kinds. One, whose continuum will ultimately come to an end, like 2018. Another, whose continuum will never come to an end, like our mind. They like the space, like our mind. like the self. And the third category, if we put effort, it will come to the continuum of which will come to an end. If we don't put effort, it will never come to an end. For example, our miseries, the pains, anguish, anxieties, self-grasping, ignorance, afflictions, they will never come to an end on their own unless until we put an effort. Okay, what kind of effort is required to be put? Yes. Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena, there are some causes. Until you deal with the causes, the results will never come to an end on their own. Okay, what is the cause of this and how to deal with that? The cause of all the miseries is ignorance, self-grasping ignorance. And how to deal with this? Just introduce counter force. What is the counter force? The very strong force of the wisdom of emptiness. What is this wisdom? The wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the reality? The reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Okay, we'll quickly meditate on the emptiness of oneself. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And what is this body doing? My body is also in meditative posture. Okay, how does this person, how does this self appear to you? Like a dream, your mind is creating it, or like nothing to do with the mind, is totally independent, so objectified, so solidified. Of course, so solidified, so objectified there. This belief, this apprehension of the self to be objectified there is the self-grasping ignorance. How can I know that this is not valid mind? How can I know that this is ignorance? Okay, if this self truly exists the way it appears as so objectively real, remember what Arjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Likewise, if this person were to exist objectively, why not I see this person as I go closer to the object? Okay, now going closer to the object, we see that it's just a thin layer of the skin, which is not the self. So let us just ignore all these which are not the self. We are looking for the self which appear to be subject real. Behind that is the fatty tissues. Of course, not me. Behind that is the muscles, cartilages. Of course, these are not me. Keep them aside. Then the skeleton, the skull, the bones, the bone marrows. Of course, none of this is me. Then the heart, the brain, the lungs, the spleen, the kidney, the gallbladder, the liver, stomach, intestines, none of these solid part is me. This solid part constitutes the element of earth. Element of earth is not me, keep that aside. Element of water, the water which is water, the blood which is pumped in and out by heart to different parts of the body, 4.6 liters of the blood. Of course, that is not me, keep that aside. Element of fire, the body heat is about like 2,500 joules of energy. That is also not me, keep that aside. Element of air that I breathe in and out. Of course, this is not me, keep that aside. Element of space, the space vacuum. In nature, I'm a solid person. Even that's also not me. What is left now? Only the mind is left. I'm a male, I'm a female. My mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. This is 100% sure. On top of that, people can see me. People can see my mind. Therefore, even this mind is also not me. Keep that aside. What is left? Nothing is left there. Quickly bring the 6 elements within you. Which of the 6 elements is this self? None, which means that the self is empty of being one with its parts. Okay, now if it is not the 6 elements, remove the 6 elements, it must be different from the 6 elements. Keeping aside the 6 elements, what is there? Nothing is left there as a self. This understanding is understanding that the self is not different from its parts. It is not one with the past, no different from the past. Where is the self from the object now? It is not at all there. This understanding of the third essential, or the fourth essential, that anything which is empty of being one with or different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the self. Okay, stay in this experience. Where is the self then? Nowhere. What are you seeing? I'm seeing 6 elements. You're seeing the element isolated of 6 elements. Where is the self? It's not there. Stay in this experience of the isolate, of the emptiness of self, which is non-affirming negative. Stay in this experience. Very profound experience. What's the benefit of this meditation? Yes, just as this self disappears to amazement, all what we see as suffering, misery, tension, depression, anxiety, if you're smart, if you're able to see these in their true form, in the objective form, we see that they're also non-existent objectively. Where, in the experience of emptiness, all this mental turbulence, stress, anxiety, depression, anguish, they all dissolve. The moment the mental disturbance and the mental sorrow dissolve, a very profound peace surges out of this experience. Stay in this experience of the incredibly profound peace. This is the meaning of the transcending sorrow as absolute peace. Any mind aspiring to achieve that state, the state of this experience of the emptiness, where all your sorrows, mental disturbance dissolve, this aspiration is known as a genuine renunciation, most refined understand renunciation. Okay, slowly come out of the practice before we switch to the Bodhicitta practice. Okay, ready for the Bodhicitta practice? We'll do it on the basis of the 4 seals, and then to be concluded with the Bodhicitta aspiration. Reinforce the visualization of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so compassionate, loving, and caring towards you, as living Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Visualize your 2 parents, your children, and all of your family members, all dear sentient beings, here in Kalachakra Center, in Paris, in France, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and the entire universe, living on our side. And you're so loving and caring towards them. And everyone is happily joining you in this practice of bodhicitta, and you're leading this. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. May all my dear sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. Cause of happiness primarily consisting of the wisdom of emptiness and the unconditional love of bodhicitta. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, seeing what the courageous commitment that you're making, like the mother after all these many years of raising her children, today the eldest daughter and the eldest son come to the mother. Mother, please take rest. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of all my siblings. I'm already grown up. Although the daughter is just 12 years old, the son is just 11 years old, the mother could not believe her eyes and ears, so happy and proud. After all these many years of hardships in raising the 5 children, today the mother could not believe her eyes and ears, so incredibly joyful and so proud, tears rolling down her cheeks. This is exactly what has happened to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So happy to see that you make such a courageous commitment to take the responsibility to fall dear messenger makes you on your own shoulder. And you, and this incredible compassion and happiness and the joy the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas feel, invoke the compassionate omniscient minds to send forth nectars of very soothing lights towards you and all dear messenger beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies beings of yours instills in all happiness and causes happiness in the minds of sentient beings yourself. And you've witnessed such a miracle is happening towards all the different sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take three deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing the make such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the omniscient minds to send for the nectars of very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings in yours washes away all the miseries and the cause of miseries. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all of different sentient beings. You are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the cause of happiness that they endowed with. May all my dear sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the cause of happiness that they endowed with. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they are endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that we make such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the omniscient minds to send forth nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings of yours stabilizes the happiness and the cause of happiness the beings are endowed with. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all of dear sentient beings. You are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my demon sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, instead abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other demon sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. May all my demon sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. I'll take the responsibility that all my demon sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that we make such a courageous commitment to the intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the omniscient minds to ascend for the nectars for soothing lights towards you, all demon sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other demon sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all of demon sentient beings. You are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscoring all the 4 immeasurables is unconditional love towards all demon sentient beings. This is the foundation, this is the basis for you build the very beautiful mind of Bodhicitta, so that eventually you become your Buddha nature will become manifest completely, and you achieve the complete state of fearlessness and the state of the infinite happiness. With this mind, with folded hands, let us make the Bodhicitta commitment. Together, the most beautiful mind in this world. And imagine all demon sentient beings are also making this commitment with you. You're inspiring them. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of Bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon discs, 1 inch and 1.5 inches in diameter, horizontally sitting at your heart. It's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment. But how can you say that you can become Buddha? So far, you have not become Buddha. And what guarantee that you have the potential of Buddha nature, the Buddhahood? Yes, of course, I have the Buddha nature. I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, the squeezing which all will come out of that. Likewise, with practice, concerted effort, the Buddhahood will come out of me, of the Buddha nature inside me. But how come that it does not manifest till now? Since time immemorial, that's true. It's because I'm being deceived by the true demons, always coming in the facade of the best of my friends. And today, I'm disillusioned by the true demons. These are not my friends anymore. These are worse of my enemies. Look at what I'm today. I'm suffering terribly. I'm just submerged in the miseries, sickness, aging, death. And these 2 demons did not do anything to get rid of these 2. Instead, these 2 demons are the ones who attracted all these miseries for me. I'm now disillusioned by them. I will simply do everything to discard them, to eradicate them. But how can you eradicate them? by introducing very powerful counterforce of the wisdom of emptiness. What is this wisdom of emptiness? Okay, let's quickly retrace the experience of emptiness which we did as the third seal. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. What is this self? Object real or come from the mind? It seems object real. This is self-grasping ignorance. How can I know that this is deceptive? Okay, just quickly go into the 6 elements. Earth, water, fire, air, space, consciousness. What are you seeing? I'm just in 6 elements. Which of 6 elements is person? None. Where's that person different from 6 elements? None. Now from the object, where's the self? Nothing, there's the self. Stay in this experience that besides 6 elements, nothing is there's the self. The self is empty. Self disappears. Stay in this experience. Slowly transform this very fearless mud of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotlessly clean thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting on the moon disk of the heart. Amazing, now you have the moon disk, which symbolizes conventional Bodhicitta, which is the unconditional love of the primary mind, which wishes to become Buddha for the benefit of all demon sentient beings. This guarantees us that the self-centered attitude will be eradicated. And a Vajra symbolizing the ultimate Bodhicitta, the non-dual wisdom of emptiness. This guarantees us that it will eradicate the self-grasping ignorance and all the subtle stains of the self-grasping ignorance. Is amazing. This guarantees us that all the mental defilements are going to be eradicated and the Buddha nature is going to manifest in the form of total fearlessness and the infinite happiness of Buddhahood. Wow, this is amazing. But let us not forget that all demon sentient beings are around you. What's the point of you? What's the point of you achieving the total fearlessness and the infinite happiness if the demon sentient beings continue to suffer? That's true. With incredible intensity of the compassion that you feel towards all demon sentient beings invokes the Vajramuni into your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one side of the Vajramuni at the heart of your mother, one side at the heart of your father, one side with each one of your children, your family members, and each one here in Kalachakra Center, each one in the entire world, and in the entire universe, the human beings, animals, insects, spirits, the hell beings, hungry ghost beings, god and goddesses. Everyone has this Vajramuni. Amazing. That's really sensible. That's so meaningful. Meanwhile, let us not forget that all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. They're so happy, so proud. Of course, why not we request them? We request them with the witness to be at the guests, undertaking the ceremony of the taking aspiration Bodhisattva vow. As a gesture of making this request, let us, along with all demon sentient beings, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Okay, on your right knees. Page 47. Okay, so today is more like the concluding ceremony of the 13th day Bodhicittas, 13th day or 12th day, 12 or 11, 12, a 12-day Bodhicitta retreat, and this is so auspicious that the Bodhicitta retreat actually happened here. I think this is the 17th in series. Okay, so all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are so happily watching us since time immemorial till now. Most likelihood, we have never ever engaged in such virtuous deed as taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And today you are doing it. And it's like the child, the daughter or the son, very young, tender child, age 5, for the first time in his life, performing making a public performance for the first time in her life, as a little nervous, and yet having a tremendous confidence in the two parents, and the two parents also. They leave behind everything that they work, whatever, leave behind everything for that day to make sure that the two of you are there, the two of the parents are there amidst the public, the audience, waving their hands to you, saying that we are there, we are so proud of you. This is exactly what all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas are feeling today. And the parents, this is the greatest day in their life to see the child, the daughter, the son, in very tender young age, for the first time making a public performance, and the parents feel so proud and happy. And they are there to make sure that two of you, the parents are visible to the child, waving their hands to the child, and the child feels so confident. This exactly is what is happening here. All the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, like the parents, they feel so happy to see what is happening today. And you, like a very small child, it is a child, meaning a child who has not really been exposed to life. We are not really being exposed to this, the life of the Buddhahood, the life of the journey of the Buddhahood, Gade. And we are just taking the first step like a small child. And yet you are so courageous. Not only that you are doing it, you are encouraging, you are inspiring all the other dear sentient beings who are likewise small children pertaining to this journey. You are inspiring everybody, and everybody is joining you. And you are engaged in this practice. And all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are there as you requested to be the witness and to be the guest. They are there to reassuring you that we are here. And with this in mind, the first stanza we read 3 times wholeheartedly, and as we read this, the meanings must be reflected. Because it is a very important journey. The most important journey that can possibly exist in this universe. So therefore, it's a very important journey and a very nobler the journey, greater the support you need. So the greatest of support that you can think of is the Triple Gem. So the first line says, I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. And given that you are undertaking this journey, the road must be very clear. If the road is blocked, the journey cannot be undertaken. The road is none other than your own mind. This mind must be cleared of the negativities, clear of the blockages of the negativity, mental negativities. So, how to remove that? The best is by confessing negativities. Second line says, I confess the negativities individually. And then, while the road is, even if the road is clear, but if the car does not have fuel, then again you cannot undertake the journey. So the car is none other than your own mind. The mind must be so rich with the fuel of the virtues and the merits. So the best way by which to do so is by rejoicing in the virtues and the merits of other sentient beings. Third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. And then now the road is clear. The car has enough fuel. what kind of journey you are going to undertake. Or I'm going to undertake the journey of Buddhahood, journey towards Buddhahood. The fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart for the benefit of all demon sentient beings. Okay, let's say this wholeheartedly 3 times, and all sentient beings are joining you. All Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, so excited, observing, watching what we're doing, and taking part in this. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the blessed Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the blessed Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the blessed Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next 2 stanzas, next 2 verses are the main ceremony, invoking Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and then the 2 stanzas. The first stanza pertaining to the Buddhas, the second stanza pertaining to yourself. And the Buddhas, for example, say the Buddha Shakyamuni, how this young prince, how come that he became Buddha Shakyamuni, and then as one individual being able to benefit infinite number of beings 2,500 years ago, and even today you see that the very sensible people who are embracing the Buddha's teachings is just multiplying exponentially. How many the spirits, how many non-humans, how many human beings are being benefited out of this teaching? It's amazing how come that he's able to do that. For 2 reasons. Initially, he generated a very strong motivation bodhicitta to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And then number 2, to materialize this aspiration, he engaged in the bodhisattva deeds, 6 perfections to mature himself, and the 4 perfections to benefit other sentient beings. This is what made him Buddha today, and now he is benefiting infinite number of beings. Amazing. I'll also follow his footsteps. I'll also generate a very strong bodhicitta, and then I'll also engage in the bodhisattva aspirations by engaging the 10 perfections. Okay, wholeheartedly. And on the 3rd repetition, the last 2 lines, as we say that, imagine that you receive the aspect of bodhisattva vow, feel an incredible great joy. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the amount of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwell in bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the amount of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successively dwell in bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the amount of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy over having received the aspiration bodhisattva vow. It's so auspicious, so fortunate. There's no commitment at all. The maximum commitment that we have is that from today onwards, I will try my best, do the best I can. I will harm others. I will benefit others, and to the minimum, I will not harm others. I'll try my best to be helpful to others, and I will not harm others. This much, if you can make commitment, this is it. You have received the aspiration bodhisattva vow, and this is the dawn of the genuine happiness, the infinite happiness for you and for all dear sentient beings. Okay, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they could not believe what is happening today. They are so happy, so proud. Like the mother, after all these many years of hearing complaints from the school principal that your daughter is so mischievous, your son is so mischievous. After all these many years, today, the mother sees the school principal coming, escorted by the other staff, the school staff, and the mother again becomes a little apprehensive. What kind of complaint? And the principal, very smiling, in a great courtesy, gentleness, congratulated the mother. Mother couldn't believe. Why? They just saying, your daughter and your son, two of them, are appointed as selected as the best of the students of the school for this year. The mother could not believe her eyes. Amazing. Thank you so much. My daughter, my son, thank you so much. Today is my day. You made my midday day today. This is so great. This is exactly what all the Buddhas Bodhisattvas are feeling today. After all these innumerable, infinite lifetimes, we just wasted our time into indulgence, into harming others, and so forth. Not at all engaged in virtues. While the Buddhas Bodhisattvas, they are always expecting that you do something good so that you'll be happy. And instead we have been just under the sway of the true demons and engaged in indulgence, so forth, thereby only bringing suffering to oneself. This is what makes the mother like the Buddhas Bodhisattvas feel so sad. All these innumerable lifetimes. And today, what you did made them so happy. They sigh with such relief today. It's amazing. This is the greatest gift that you can possibly think of making to all the dear sentient beings. And today you did it. You gifted all dear sentient beings with this aspiring Bodhisattva vow. And this is the greatest offering that you can think of in this universe to make to all Buddhas Bodhisattvas. The Buddha said, one moment of compassion far excels the gift of whole universe filled with the gems to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as expansive as the sky. If this is the case, what need is there to mention of what we did today? The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are so happy and proud. And today you have made the offering of this Bodhicitta, this wisdom emptiness, this aspiring Bodhisattva vow to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And a wise person will see that this is the greatest meaning of one's life. And today you have extracted this meaning. You have given such a meaning to your life. And yet, this is all happening because of the kindness of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking them, wholeheartedly thanking them, along with all the sentient beings, let us slowly stand to make three prostrations, to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, please take your seats. Okay, this practice, in fact, from the first Bodhicitta retreat, which happened in 2013, and then now this, I think it's like the 17 in series. We did about like 17 thus far. And to my greatest happiness, many people from these retreats, from these 17 retreats, many people reported to me that from the day, from that time of taking part in the retreat, they never stopped doing this practice, particularly taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow from that time onwards. So it will be wonderful if we can also do the same thing. The participants here, if you can also take this is the wisest thing to do. This is the greatest meaning for us to do. And along with your practice, so whatever practice, for example, like the sadhanas and so forth that you have, you can include this aspiration Bodhisattva vow practice. Include it there. That would be wonderful. Okay. So that would be great. And in case if this not the really feasible, then they say once in a week or at least once in a month, even that would be wonderful. Okay, so now to make sure that the connection is not lost with this practice in the future lifetimes, and that we can, the moment we are reconnected to this teaching, then how to rigorously engage in this practice so that the journey is not disrupted. The journey of Buddhahood, Gade Para Sangbadi, is not disrupted. For that matter, one is to include a very powerful prayer, and then number two is to feel the joy, rejoice over this act of having generated bodhicitta. Okay, page 48. Throughout my future lifetimes, may all of us be guided by a compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may all of us be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may all of us be guided by and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. In order to further increase bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have loosely seized and awakened the mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I have been born in the family of the Buddha and now one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind person discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, but likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. It's the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death. It's the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It's the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It's the wandering and tired on the part of conditioned existence. It's the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It's the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It's the great sun that finally removes the mist ignorance of the world. It's the quintessential butter from the churning of the milk of Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the boundless happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and it will place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, page 44. Now to reinforce the profundity of compassion, we will try to read this. We will read these stanzas, and in the end, make a very strong prayer, as Bodhisattva Shantideva made, that may I be able to share this teaching of the emptiness and bodhicitta to all sentient beings, so that all sentient beings, they will wake up from the sleep of ignorance. Waking up can be done in two ways. Partial waking up, which will give rise to nirvana, and full waking up gives rise to total Buddhahood. So, I pray that all sentient beings, through my accumulation of merit, taking part in the retreat, Bodhicitta retreat, and the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, and the continuous study, reflection, meditation, may be able to first experience the Sugata within myself, and then be able to share the wisdom of emptiness with the Bodhicitta to all the dear sentient beings, so that they will be woken up from the sleep of ignorance completely, and they experience the total fearlessness and the infinite happiness. Page 44. Therefore, sentient beings resemble dreams. Upon analysis, they are like plantain trees. Whether they are released or not from sorrow, ultimately there is no difference. What is there to gain and what is there to lose with things that are empty of true existence in this way? Who is there to pay me respect and who is there to abuse me? From what are pleasure and pain derived? What is there to be happy or unhappy about? When one searches for the ultimate nature, who is there to crave and what is there to crave for? Upon analysis, this world of living beings is found to have no true existence. Therefore, who can die here? What is there to have come and what has been? Who are friends and who are relatives? O you who are investigating reality, please recognize, as I've done, that all is just like space. Those who wish to be happy are greatly disturbed by cause of a conflict and overjoyed by the cause of a pleasure. But not finding happiness, they suffer. And in order to find it, they exert themselves. They argue with others, cut and stab one another. With many wrong deeds, they live in a state of great hardship. Even though they repeatedly come to happy existences and experience much pleasure there, upon dying they fall for a long time into the unbearable suffering lower realms. Within conditioned existence, the chasms of suffering are many, and the liberating comprehension of ultimate truth is absent. Furthermore, the apprehension of true existence and the understanding of emptiness mutually contradict one another. But if, while in conditioned existence, I do not realize this ultimate truth, I shall continue to experience the limitless ocean of misery, unbearable and beyond analogy. Likewise, through not having realized emptiness, I have little strength for virtue, and my human life of leisure and endowment is indeed very short. Also, I strive hard to live. I'm concerned with hunger, rest, and sleep. I'm injured by others and keep meaningless company with the childish. Therefore, this life swiftly passes with no meaning, and it's very hard to find the chance to investigate reality. In this state, where is there the means to reverse this beginningless habit of grasping a true existence? Furthermore, devils are exerting themselves to cast us into vast unfortunate realms. There are many mistaken paths. It is hard to resolve doubts about the perfect way. It will be hard to find the leisure of human life again, and extremely difficult to find the presence of the Buddhas. It is hard to forsake this flood of afflictions. Alas, sentient beings will continue to suffer. Oh, indeed, it is worth feeling sorrow for those that drift in the river of pain, who, although they experience great misery, are unaware of the suffering they go through. For example, some ascetics wash themselves again and again, and others repeatedly enter fire. But although they thereby suffer greatly, they pretend themselves as being happy. Similarly, those who mistake their suffering for joy and live as though they were no aging or death are first of all killed by the Lord of death, and then experience the unbearable misery of falling into lower realms. When shall I be able to extinguish the pains of those tormented by the fires of suffering with the rain of my accumulated happiness that has sprung from the clouds of my merits? And by having it a manner of not objectifying true existence, intensely will I gather the accumulation of merit. When will I be able to reveal emptiness to those who are wretched and sad by view of true existence? Okay, we will quickly do the sock offering. 227. Okay, 235. 235. Okay, 235. Just for information. Okay, the sock offering. This is more related to the tantra, and you find the mention. You find the mention of like the skulls, the blood, and so forth. They are to be understood in proper way. They are to be the meanings must be reflected. Okay. What is seen as the skulls and so forth? It has nothing to do with the skulls. It is just to remind us of impermanence. The skulls, the bones, and so forth. They are to remind us of impermanence. And then what is seen as, say, for example, what we see as dirty things like blood and so forth. These are to be understood in the form of how to learn how not to objectify things. Say, when we see things objective, for example, the same flower, the same object has a capacity to give rise to three different emotions. Say, the attachment, when you see it as a flower. When you see it as the chromosomes, aversion. And then seen as atoms, neutral, same object. And whereas, if you never think about these three, then the moment you see a flower, it gives a very pleasant feeling. Not knowing that it's because of the appearance. It's not really from the object. It's appearance of the object. And appearance is purely subjective, is your mental projection. Nothing really from the object. So what throws us into samsara is because of this duality that we see. This is so repulsive, this is so good. This view throws us into samsara, aversion, attachment, and then karmas, contempt karmas, and samsara. So now with this understanding that everything's just coming from a mind. This beautiful flower, which is so beautiful, is also coming from a mind. And this the snake-like, very repulsive, the chromosomes, they're also coming from a mind, nothing really from the object. Then your reaction to the object stop. Your reaction stop, and then the contaminant karma stop. So this is a very skillful way. Whereas if you don't see it in a proper way, then it can lead us to a total misconception, and your faith in Dharma can also go down. Okay, so all these the dirty the items mentioned there, they are for us to stop our objectification of things to be repulsive and good and so forth, and thus to be liberated from the ensnarement of objectification. Okay, yes. And then okay, I don't want to elaborate too much. Maybe there are one or two new people into the Buddha's teachings. So therefore, we have the nectar and also the raisins. Okay, so otherwise in some of the monasteries they use the wine or alcohol and then the meat, whereas I fully agree, and I see it's so precious practice that my teachers, they use only instead of alcohol, my teachers used the black tea, and then instead of the meat, my teachers used the resin, what do you call it? Raisin, and in lieu of the meat. So we have not reached that level of the realization, not to objectify things as dirty and so forth. So because of that, okay, we did do that as assimilation, the simulation practice, so that we can be connected. When our realization of emptiness and the bodhicitta becomes very intense, then we can practice them in its own ways. Otherwise, for the time, we have not reached that level. When we don't reach that level, and then to try to do the things, which we are not really competent, that's not really relevant. It can be more harmful than of benefit. Okay, so what we do is that okay. Okay, the Queen Lamp, you will lead the song offering. We'll just do it directly from page 235. Page 235, I read up to the 59. Then meanwhile, okay, so the idea is that song offering, meaning we are offering the best of the things to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, including the edibles displayed there. The whole idea is that this retreat, in order particularly, the wise, great teachers, if they come to see what is happening today here, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, if he sees what is happening here, the last 12 days or 13 days of the Bodhicitta retreat, they will be so happy. This is the real essence of that Dharma happening here. They'll be so proud. Literally, they'll be so happy, more than anything else. So therefore, the point is that for such things to happen without accumulation of merit is not possible. Oftentimes what happens is that we organize the retreat, and some people, they signed up for 1 year in advance. They already did the booking of the flight and everything, and just the day before they were to take the flight, something goes wrong with the family members, or something goes wrong, they have to call off they have to stop coming. They could not attend. So we see, and then they find the merit accumulation to support these virtuous activities is so much required. So offering is a merit. The best way by which to accumulate merit is by make offering of offering everything good that you have to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, so this is the basic idea, and also that in future that we be able to continue with our virtues, great virtues like the Bodhicitta retreat and so forth, for that matter. And again, merit accumulation is required. So today is like the transition, the accumulate, making of this soul offering, thanking all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for the kindness that they blessed us, that we did not encounter with the obstacles from undertaking this the Bodhicitta retreat, and in the future also making the request to them that whatever virtues, intense virtues that we're going to engage in, that you be continuously blessed by all Buddhas Bodhisattvas, that your virtues will be successful. Okay. Yes.
Their function is to generate the extraordinary pristine awareness of emptiness and bliss of subjects and their mind will integrate all places are vast fields, and all structures majestic like a vast oceans, clouds, Samantala, all objects are endued with the clarity of all beings are actual viras and virinis. There is not even the word impurity of love. In which all on top of the turbulent waves of basic fire, on the ground of life of three human heads, within the proper from their boiling I request you what
Recite Om Muni Muni Mani Swaha. Continuing. 60.
or these ocean-like stock offering of uncontaminated nectar.
Bless the Samadhi mantra and mudra. We offer it in order to please you, host of lineage, root and lineage gurus, Om Ahum, contented by a spot with all the splendors that could be wished for. Om Aho, please let fall a great rain of blessings. Blessed by concentration mantra and mudra, this ocean-like sock offering of spotless nectar, offer for your delight assemblies of root and lineage gurus. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all your wish, please I beg let fall a great rain of blessings. Blessed by concentration mantra and mudra, this ocean-like sock offerings of spotless nectar, offer for your delight assemblies of yedams, deities and attendants. Satisfied by enjoying an abundance of all your wish, please I beg blessed by concentration mantra and mudra, this ocean-like sock offering of spotless nectar, offer for your delight assemblies of the most precious jewels. Satisfied by enjoying the abundance of all you wish, please up beg let fall of great rain of holy dharma. Blessed by concentration mantra and mudra, this ocean-like sock offering of spotless nectar, offer for your delight assemblies of Dakanis and Dharma. Dhamma protector, satisfied by enjoying the abundance of all you wish, please let fall a great rain of virtuous deeds. Blessed by concentration mantra and mudra, this ocean-like sock offering of spotless nectar, offer for your delight assemblies of mother sentient beings. Satisfied by enjoying the abundance of all you wish, please let delusive appearance and suffering bear an age. Okay, who's so doing things? Christula. Retreat. 66. Look, Venerable, great circle of Sog, you who has followed in the tracks of Sugatas of the 3 times, and has also all-powerful attainments, since we realize this, O great hero, who has forsaken the conceptualizing mind, please enjoy continually the circle of Sog. Alala. Very good. With nature inseparable from the 3 Vajras, I visualize this Idam Guru. This nectar, immaculate wisdom, knowledge, wisdom without stirring from Bodhicitta, I drink to satisfy the deities dwelling in my body. What great bliss. Okay, so the Venerable Elizabeth has the nectar. Okay. Do you have a spoon? Okay, good. Venerable Elizabeth has the nectar. So what we do is that, as Venerable Elizabeth gives us just 1 spoon of the nectar, a few drops of nectar, you take it in your right hand palm. And then you drink it, in your right hand, and drink it. And as you drink it, does it have sugar? No? Yes.
No, just black tea. Just black tea. Yes. Just black tea.
There's sugar. Okay, no problem. So the idea is that as you taste it, you visualize that you are tasting the nectar. The nectar which is non-dual wisdom and bliss. Which gives you the tremendous bliss, the bliss where all the mental turbulence stops, mental agitations, turbulence, anxiety, stress, all dissolve. And this experience of the bliss, from this you try to see the emptiness nature. This is known as the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. From this bliss, you try to see the emptiness, how the self is just the 6 elements. Within 6 elements, nothing is there as a self. Empty. So that is the real the blessing. Okay, the rest of us will continue reading Song of the Spring. Yes. Okay, some can also. 68. Well, I make this request. O Heruga, who delights in supreme bliss and who attends the mudra experiencing bliss, blessed by enjoying yourself in accordance with the rites, join with innate bliss and emptiness. May the host of stainless darkness, whom we make a request to you, the Tathagatas who are thus gone, as well as to the various yoginis, dakas and dakinis. Yogins dance with enchanting, soothing movements, protect her so exciting to please, and the multitudes of dakinis come before us and bless us, bestow upon us innate bliss. La 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 ho aye ara le ho. You are the multitudes of immaculate dakinis. Look upon us with love. Bestow all the powerful attainments, whom we make a request to you, the Tathagatas, who are thus gone, as well as to the various yoginis, dakas and dakinis, the great bliss that is possessed of liberating qualities, the great bliss without which freedom cannot be gained in one life. Though one endures many asceticisms, the great bliss abides within the center of the Supreme Lotus. La 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 ho aye ara le ho. You are the multitudes of immaculate dakinis. Look upon us with love. Bestow all the powerful attainments, whom we make our request to you, the Tathagatas, who are thus gone, as well as to the Vedas, yoginis, dakas and dakinis. Just as a lotus born out of the mud, great bliss or desire is unsullied by its faults. O Supreme Yoginis, by the bliss of your lotus, may the bones of samsara be quickly untied. La 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 ho aye ara le ho. You are the multitudes of dakinis. Look upon us with love. Bestow all the powerful attainments, whom we make a request to you, the Tathagatas, who are thus gone, as well as to the Vedas.
Like a swarm of bees joining forth with nectar of flowers, was substantiated by the captivating nature of the nature, possessing those qualities. You, the multitudes of immaculate dakinis, look upon us with love, bestow all the powerful attainments, whom impure existence of beauty becomes purified in the sphere of holiness. Like sufficient nectar created along Christine awareness, home become the vessels of all desired things. Om Aha, Om Aha, Om Aha.
Just check if everybody got the song. Just check. Just check one by one. Even the empty seats, the people who are standing, some of them might not got it. Just check everybody. Okay, the remaining sock, leftover sock, the idea is, okay, some of you already know what we are doing now. Now, after distributing the sock, so you got your share of the blessings, which actually already offered to Buddha's Bodhisattva, you got to share. And from there, you eat something, and then from what is left, from there you give something to the local spirits. It is not necessary. Some people think that it should be just what you have bitten, only that part, what is left from the bitten. This is not necessary. Be kind to give something nice also. Not necessary, partly which you have, gone to your mouth. Give something nice also. Yeah. As a remaining sock, it's not necessary mean it should be dirtied. Leftover soak is meant for the local spirits. Idea is that the local spirits, they cannot really partake in because of lack of marriage, they cannot partake in the soak offering the way the human beings can. So therefore, whereas if you give something out of what is left, this is what, with your prayers, this is what they can share, this is what they can partake or enjoy. So this is primarily for the local spirits. And then after making those offering to the local spirits, the idea is to, in their own capacity, they can be of some service to you, to the sentient beings, to the Dharma, in whatever, in their capacity, that can help us, like to avoid, remove the obstacles, remove the ailments and so forth, and to create good harvest and so forth. This is what they can do. So this is what we request them to do. With incense, with incense, with light, candlelight, tea light. Okay.
Oh, this ocean of remaining
Of uncontaminated nectar, blessed by Samadhi, Mantra, and Mutra, we offer to please you, host of oath-bound realm protectors, Om Ahom, contented by a spot with all the splendors that could be wished for. Em Aho, please. So, remaining soak to the guests who are left together with the great entourage. May the precious teachings proliferate. May the upholders of the teachings, the offerings, patrons, together with their entourage, and especially we yogis, all gain freedom from sickness, long life, fame, good fortune, abundant wealth as wished for. Bestow on us the powerful attainments or actions, such as pacification, increase, and so forth. O all-bound Retarders, help us obtain all powerful attainments. Make us meet no untimely death, sickness, demons, or interfering spirits. See that we have no bad dreams, ill omens, or calamities.
May we have worthy happiness, good crops,
and harvest. May the Dharma flourish, all goodness and joy come about. May all wishes in our minds be fulfilled. By the force of this bountiful giving, may I become a self-evolved Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. And by this gesture of generosity, may I liberate the multitudes of beings who are not liberated by the Buddhas of the past. Okay, we'll stop here. We do the end-direction prayer. Okay, we do the end-direction prayer. Page 284, end-direction prayer. Okay, so this is the very fruitful, meaningful 12-day Bodhicitta retreat. And as I said from the beginning, for people to really dedicate about like 10, 12 days is nowadays is quite a lot, meaning the people you have a sense of great commitment and feeling of, say, the sense of value of the Dharma. This is what we have felt. Otherwise, it's very difficult to spend like this chunk of like 12 days in stretch for retreat and so forth. It's a little difficult. But you made it. I really appreciate that. And that finally the meaning, let us not forget the meaning of the life is to make yourself happy, is to make the others happy. And then see this journey, Gade is going to be a continuous journey. Not only this life, is continuation to the next life, and that we keep progressing all the time. One. And then see, practically speaking, after leaving this retreat, see in what manner we can continue with this Dharma practice, particularly reading some materials on emptiness, bodhicitta on a daily basis. If possible, like some people, what they are doing is the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life by Bodhisattva Shantideva. So they read every day read like 2 stanzas. Every day they just read 2 stanzas. Even if you are so excited to want to read more, no, just read 2 stanzas. And that is consistent. One. And this book, you can always keep this next to your bed, and just before you go to bed, read it half a page. And don't read it too much, because this is the contents inside, they are very heavily loaded. You just read maximum like half a page or 1 page and keep it there. Yeah? Then put a bookmark there. Keep it there. This is how the sharpness and the intelligence, the wisdom grows. Finally, achieving enlightenment is not Not easy. It has to be done with the help of the very sharp, the mind and a compassionate mind, good heart. So the practice of the Vajra moon, if you can do it on a daily basis, that would be wonderful. Okay. So no doubt we accumulate enormous amount of merit, and I see it's the Venerable Elizabeth, the same. It is her effort to make sure that all these things happen, and then it is my meeting with Venerable Tune Quinjanla, from the first in where. Okay, first time meeting both Gaya, then in the Deer Park in Dharamsala. So there, then somehow he connected me with Venerable Elizabeth, and then this how last year's program happened, and then we see that it's very meaningful. For me also, it is really very happy to be in this beautiful place and very fresh air and a little bit of respite from the Delhi heat, and to meet with many people, and particularly meet, not to fight, but to share thoughts, ideas, some noble ideas of Bodhicitta, wisdom and emptiness, which I learned from my teachers. And then seeing here we have Catherine, who has been tirelessly working here now for about 3 years. And then we have the John Pia, who has built this beautiful stupa. So, and then there are so many connected with the center. So let us dedicate the merits. No doubt we have accumulated enormous of merit because of the effort of these people. And then this year we have wonderful Christophe La, who really be doing everything unseen, like they're translating, making the text available for the participants. This is such a kind gesture, amazing kind gesture, not at all telling anybody, just doing it on his own. And then the Christophe and Venerable Tunakunya, two of them together, making sure that the English version and the French version, they are the same. The page is amazing. The amount of the effort they put is so kind. And I could see from how people enjoying this class. They see most likely Christophe is making it very lively with his translation. Yeah, so I really appreciate the high quality, because I also had the experience of translation. So from this I could see what is good translation from not good translation. Good translation is when the teacher cracks some jokes, and the jokes must be passed on. When the teacher cracks the jokes and the participants, they are so like this, turn, which means that something is missing in this translation. Whereas here, so more than what I said, the laughter is coming more than what I expected, which means that the translator is way very effective. Thank you so much. And so all these things like emotions, not only the jokes, even the very the poignant emotions, like compassion, so forth. So these are becoming so alive, which means that the translator is very efficient. Thank you so much. And then we have this perfectionist lady, and Sophie, the perfectionist. The moment the speaker falls, she becomes so upset, right? So nothing wrong should happen. For her, everything must go so well. So I said that don't be too perfectionist. Okay. So by the way, there was the Italian nun, and who was meeting with one of the abbots, and the abbot knows the Italian nun for so many years. So Italian nun was so perfectionist, everything so precise. And the Venerable Abbot told the nun that don't be too perfectionist. Too perfectionist is also not good. With too perfectionist, then unnecessary, so much tension will come to you. And the Italian nun gave a brilliant answer. She said that, but to become Buddha, you should be so perfectionist. Right? So this, I'm sure, the Anne Sophie will give the same answer. I know that she's very brilliant. Okay. So thank you so much, and Sophie, to make all this sound, the video, everything is possible. And since last year, I came to know from Venerable Elizabeth that somehow you feel you are a great contributor to the center. I really thank you so much for that. And also I learned from Venerable Queen Chenla that Mary is like the mother of this program, making sure that all the altar is taken care of, and the tea, the water, the juice, and everything is taken care of. And then people, they teach me French to make sure that everybody teaches me French, right? So she's like the mother for all of us here. Thank you so much. And then each one of us here, each one of you here, this is all because of you. That this program, the center, the whole purpose for the Lama Soba Rinpoche to make sure that the center is here, and then Venerable the Elizabeth, somehow make on the ground to make sure that the center is formed here in this place, and then Catherine, somebody on the ground to make sure that things are operating on a daily basis for the last 3 years. So these are all so very precious, also very precious. And then, whereas if there are no people, who are actually the beneficiaries of this, again, the center becomes meaningless. So whereas the center is really thriving because of the participants. And I come to know that there are a number of people who are directly associated with Kalachakra Center in Paris, and then reaping the benefit of the Geshe Damdul. You are very fortunate to have such the residential teacher there. This is so precious. And there are many places where there's no residential teacher. So once in a while, people come together, have their personal meetings, so forth. Whereas you are very fortunate to have the Venerable Elizabeth there in the first place, who is, taking care of the center there for all these many years. And one of the main, the person who Lama Yeshe Rinpoche had so much of confidence that we should benefit the people, and there should be somebody working on the ground to really establish the centers. And Venerable Elizabeth contributed a lot towards first of all they contributed towards the monastery, and then actually established the Vajrayogini Center, and then established the Kalachakra Center. And this is amazing great service to the Bodhidharma. And I pray that all of you, Venerable Elizabeth and Catherine, and then the Venerable Quinchela, who is like the initial trigger of all these programs, and then we have here Christoph, very dedicated to Dharma, and each one of you, I see that you are fully dedicated. I pray that each one of you have a long life, and that your Dharma practice will be on the path, and that will be very successful in your Dharma practice. You see the growth in your Dharma practice. So let us all in the process of reciting the dedication verses, let us pray that by the virtue of our having conducted the 12-day program on the Bodhicitta wisdom of emptiness and all the other aspects, let us dedicate that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long, and that he has a very healthy life, that he lives long, that his wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. And let us also dedicate marriage that's gathered, that all the incredibly great, the legendary great teachers, like the teachers of the philosophy, psychology, logic, and so forth in the monastery universities, such as Ganden, Sera, Debung, and the great monastery universities of the Sakya, Kagyu, Nyingma, Gelu, all the traditions, and the great teachers like Lama Soba Rinpoche, may all of them have a long life, and that their wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And the activities of the great monastery universities thrive in the study, reflection, meditation of the precious teachings of the Buddha. And may I also personally dedicate the merits thus gathered, that each one of you, through your concerted effort in this practice of Bodhicitta wisdom of emptiness, may you soon see the dawn of the Bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness in your mind, so that each one of you become such a reliable guide to lead all the sentient beings infinity amount of sentient beings towards the ultimate happiness. May the teaching on the Bodhicitta thrive in all the places in space and time, in the minds of the people, the spread across the space and time, and may the teaching on the wisdom of emptiness thrive in all the minds of the beings of the three times. Okay, with that in mind, let us turn to page 284. Dedication. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness good. All powerful charities, Tenzin Gyatso, please remain after samsara ends. Just a brave Manjushra and Samadabhata too realize things as they are. Also, I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Chanju Samjo Ryambo Che Ma Ge Ba Nam Ge Gyoro Che Ge Ba Nyam Ba Me Ba Ya Kone Kondo Pe Barai Sho. May the Supreme Bodhicitta, there is no arising grow, and may their wishes rest not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. To do the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into their enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of three times, and to the holding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May I know all lives through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the two stages. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice the virtues of all the beings. I hold the blessed Buddha in my heart. The path of unity, emptiness, and compassion is lucidly explained by the Bodhisattva, Buddha, Dharma, and the beings of the land of snows. Where the Lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso, we supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations, the evil thoughts and deeds of negative forces of humans or non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the path of the truth of the three jewels. In all my lives, never separate from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualitative stages of the may I quickly attain the state of Vajratara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origins in particular, even in the course of my life.
I forgot my mandala in Paris, so I would like to offer you, through my imagination, a mandala on behalf of all the people here, because you have been bringing us so much, since 12 days, and even last year, and we all feel very blessed, that you could come this year, and we pray that you can come back next year. So thank you very much, Geshe.
Thank you so much.
We would like also to thank our beautiful translator, Christophe, working tirelessly, and so kind, always smiling. Thank you very much.
Christophe là.
And also our retreat leader, empty seat. Perfect leader. Oh. Thank you very much. Thank you for your smile.
Okay, I also like to offer a scarf to Catherine. Catherine. Catherine, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Geshe.
Yeah. Okay, and Sophie. Mary. And Mike. Okay, now we will. What we do is that we seal the virtues with the meditative emptiness, so the virtues are not going to be destroyed or damaged, and instead will be like the drops that you put in the ocean till the ocean. As long as the ocean lasts, the drops also last. Okay, this is what we do. How to seal it? Let's quickly do the meditation emptiness. Emptiness of the person who engaged in this practice of the wisdom of empty, in this Bodhicitta retreat the last 12 days. Okay, let us sit up properly. And this emptiness meditation, which is going to be very quick, with the 5 points, which we can do on a daily basis. On a daily basis, which will not take you with a guided. It may be like 3 minutes without guided instruction. It may be like 1.5 minutes. Okay, let's do that. Let us sit up properly. Okay, the 5 points. Point 1 is the self. Just think of the self who is engaged in the 12-day retreat, Bodhicitta retreat, a very precious retreat. Point number 2, the 6 elements. Okay, see yourself in the light of 6 elements. Point number 3, the 2 questions. What are you seeing? I'm seeing the 6 elements. This is not emptiness, but ask the second question. Where is this person? Where is this I? It's not there. 6 elements are not a person, not this I. Removing the 6 elements, there's no I left there. Stay in this experience that the self, the I disappears. It's empty. Stay in this experience. This is number 4, the space like emptiness. Stay in this space like emptiness, where like space, nothing to be identified as a space. Even the self cannot be identified. It's empty. It disappeared. Ultimately, nothing is there, including the self. Okay, with this awareness, with the spirit not diminished, slowly arise from this meditation and then come out of the meditation, and you see the self empty from the object, but still is operating. It appears, it operates. There is an illusion, just illusion is coming from your mind. It's totally empty from the object. Likewise, even the self is like illusion coming from the mind, nothing from object. Yet, on this conventional, just on the surface appearance, conventional level, it is operating. This is the illusion like emptiness of the self. Okay, slowly come out of this practice. Okay, good. Okay, thank you each and every one of you. What a joy to be with all of you, and hoping to see you more and more often till Buddhahood.